Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be taking a look at what do you need to release to let love in. And this can relate to opening your heart to let in new love or reconciliation from someone in the past. This can also be in regards to self-love, or if you are in a connection with someone currently, deepening that love, the expression of love, the feeling of love between you both. So at the time that I'm recording this video, we are right on the cusp of the full moon in Virgo, which is going to be happening on Friday, March 18th, 2022. And this is a timeless reading, so if you're watching this video and it is not on or around the time of that full moon, that's fine. Again, this is timeless, so these energies, are relevant whenever. But with that in mind, with that full moon energy that is kind of in the air, that's stirring, that can already be felt at this time, I felt it was very appropriate to do a video like this because full moons are a really good time to release things. And this can either be, if you follow moon cycles, if you actively set intentions during new moons, then the full moon, which follows, so roughly 2 weeks after each new moon, there is a full moon. So that can be a really good time to check in with those intentions that were set, to see how things are going, maybe anywhere where your plans or your methods need revision, and to release things in that capacity. It can also be a really good time as the moon kind of increases her exposure, the exposure of her face, her light, that energy exchange between the earth and its inhabitants and herself. This can also be something where, you can feel that energy shift, particularly if you are sensitive to energy, empathic. This can be tapped into or, again, just felt. Through physical sensations. Vivid dreams are very common. And there's also, people kind of are affected by this. The earth is affected by this. The tides are affected by this. So you can definitely encounter people just in your day-to-day that might be completely unaware that they are in fact being affected by the energies of the moon and the pull of the moon, particularly around that full moon. So, you can have more intense interactions with people. Things can be triggered. Things can kind of come up from the subconscious. So each full moon can be a really good time where, maybe some things have come up in dreams or in terms of your interactions, memories from the past that surface, they come to your attention. And, that happens because it's an opportunity for you to really address those things, look at those things, do the healing that you need to and release what you need to in order to kind of move forward a little less encumbered by those sensations or those memories or experiences or people. So all of that can be a good practice during the full moon, is to really look at what have you been feeling lately, what have you been experiencing lately, what changes or shifts do you want to see in your life. And release in regards to the full moon can be, again, tangible things, people, circumstances, habits, lifestyle choices. These can also be mindsets. Or, just certain stories that we tell ourselves, or, kind of making an effort to kind of deal with some trauma or some triggering from our past that, surfaces, that comes up, or that it's a really good time to, again, work with that energy of the moon cycles, as the moon is kind of going from full into the waning period. The light is kind of dissipating. She's sort of cloaking her face, leading all the way to the dark moon in 2 weeks, and then the next new moon, which will occur, which will start that cycle all over again. So there are many opportunities for this. It's not just a one and done kind of thing. There's every 2 weeks, roughly, there's either a new moon or a full moon happening. So there are a lot of opportunities to check back in and, kind of revise plans as necessary, set new intentions. So with this particular full moon, we are also right on the cusp of the vernal equinox, the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and for those of you in the southern hemisphere, that's the autumnal equinox, both of which will be occurring on Monday, March 21st. So a shift in seasons. This will be the last full moon for winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. So with spring as a time of rebirth, kind of exiting that cold and sort of the quiet of winter, and with the autumnal equinox, with autumn, that is, you know, kind of entering into this stage of letting go and preparation for that quiet, introspective time of the year, the darker time of the year, as summer kind of wraps up and comes to a close. So this particular equinox, again, a really good time to do that inventory. Release some things that you don't want to carry forward with you into this next phase and cycle. So with all those energies in mind, again, this reading is specifically just asking the question, what do you need to release to let love in? So it's a timeless reading, and love can be defined in any sense for you. Love of self, love of another, a new love, a new partnership, a new reconciliation, or even a deepening of love with your current partner. So with that in mind, there are 3 groups to choose from today. For group 1, it's this raw Moonstone, along with this group of oracle cards. Group 2 is this Labradorite, along with this group of oracle cards. And group 3 is the Quartz, along with this group of oracle cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and really feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you are feeling most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection. There are timestamps in the description box for each group if you want to jump ahead. And if you're choosing to watch multiple groups, then those timestamps can also be helpful in case you don't want to listen to me shuffling and clearing my energy and centering in between each group. If you want to listen to that, of course, as you know, kind of some ASMR for you maybe, then that's perfectly fine too. But the timestamps are there to use as you will. So I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. Hi, group 1. You chose the Moonstone. Put that right up here. And we'll start with these cards to see what do you need to release to let love in. We have false person, community, great fortune, lessons and blessings, angels, disconnected, Hathor, mistress of harmony, meditation, communication, culture, Ceredwin, inspiration, creativity, transformation, rebirth, Got the Queen of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. And the Four of Wands. So I feel for a lot of you that chose group 1, there's still some emotional pain that is lingering with you, that you may have done, a lot of work to kind of move beyond that, to disconnect from that, to kind of partition that off from your life, and really focus on the now and on the present. But this could be in regards to a partnership of the past, a person of the past, somebody that, you saw yourself building a life with, building a family with, someone that you thought was the one, someone you saw as very stable, very down to earth, a connection, where your heart would be safe. And you may have opened up to this person emotionally in a very profound way, unlike perhaps the ways in which you've been able to connect or open up with other people. But that this person turned out to be very different from what they were originally presenting to you. You may have experienced a lot of betrayal and deceit in this connection. This could have been something which, it could have caused a lot of embarrassment for you as well. This could have been something where, people within your community were very aware of what this person was doing. There could have been a lot of infidelity. This could also have been something, infidelity in regards to, maybe with people who were part of your community, with friends or even family members for some of you, to where the devastation that occurred when this, connection kind of went awry, the ripple effects, it led into more than just heartbreak. There could have been friendships which ended because of this, family that you are estranged from because of this. You could have spent a great deal of, money and time even, maybe trying to get some resolution from this, some counseling from this. Maybe some of you were getting a lot of tarot readings about this person, trying to, get to the root of things, get to the root of, kind of find out maybe what was going on, if there again was some infidelity, or, it could have just been something where, you were very much fixated on this energy and trying to tap into that after the fact. To find out what was going on about this person, if they were sorry, if they'd gotten some karma, what this person meant to you. You could have identified this person at one point in time as your twin flame, and perhaps they are. This isn't to say they are or they are not, but there are definitely some lessons that were involved with this experience with this person, and that in some way, what you saw as a very abundant person, somebody you could build with, your forever person, it turned out to be quite the opposite of that. A lot of your hopes and dreams just kind of went out the window. This could be something also where, you felt you were maybe being punished for something. Maybe some way that you didn't show up as the best partner to somebody else. Maybe you felt that this person in some way was a karmic partner to you, or in some way that this was punishment because of some, stories that you were telling yourself, or some ways that, you might not have been the best partner to somebody else in your past. And that could be past life, or, your past relationships in this incarnation. And so with the devastation that occurred, and I feel that this really caught you off guard, that this was something that was very unexpected, that this person put on a very convincing mask, a convincing display of being one way, being one person, being very committed to this relationship, and almost had like a double life, or, you know, a lot going on beneath the surface that, you know, as time went on, you found out that, you know, and again, there could have been a great degree of embarrassment to this because other people were aware of what this person was doing, what was going on. It could have been something, you know, they maybe had, they were with you and then also had, you know, dating profiles on online dating sites, for example. They were going out and, you know, seeing other people behind your back, perhaps many partners, or, you know, just maybe this person just was kind of dating you and somebody else at the same time. And so you felt maybe almost foolish for having overlooked the signs, for really believing the story that this person, you know, had told you, what they had presented to you. When everything came out about that, then again, these feelings of maybe being duped or, you know, being punished somehow. Maybe this has kind of changed your mindset, this experience with this person, to where you've really closed off to love, the idea of love, or you've adopted some kind of narrative for yourself that you're just not meant to be lucky in love, that maybe love just isn't for you in this lifetime. And it's something that, you know, you could have talked to a lot of people about this. You could have tried to talk through this, done a lot of journaling about this. Maybe some of you talked to a therapist or a counselor about this, or you've prayed a lot about this. And, you know, that it's something, you know, you've invested a lot of time in trying to move beyond this, trying to figure out why this happened. And it's something I feel you have, for the most part, moved on. With that Knight of Pentacles, this doesn't feel like anything that just happened yesterday. This feels like something that has been, you know, at a minimum in your recent past. This could have been perhaps several years ago, or, you know, even as much. I always think with the Knight of Pentacles, I always think in like big chunks of time, so like 5 years or 10 years. So this could have been something like very much in the past that, you know, time has gone on, you've kind of, you know, you've rebuilt your life, you've moved in another direction, but the sting of this has made you maybe very hesitant to really open up to love again, or open up as fully and be as vulnerable as you had been with this person in the past. So it's definitely having a ripple effect here into the future. This could be something where, you know, you're longing for that partnership, you're longing for that person, that, you know, that counterpart, that, you know, someone that you can be safe in love with, someone that you can feel sheltered in love with, as opposed to maybe after this experience with this person, it's made you very guarded, very leery, very skeptical, you know, kind of. That could have been, this could have created some kind of wedge in subsequent romantic partnerships that you've had, because, you know, you're always waiting for that other shoe to drop. You're kind of looking for the signs, or, you know, just playing detective almost a little too much, perhaps at the point of maybe breaching another person's barriers, and really, because of what this person, this occurrence in the past, this experience in the past, that you're having a really hard time, again, maybe trusting new partners fully, or it takes you a lot longer to trust. And that this is something that you have a hard time. Maybe you don't talk about this with others. Maybe you don't talk about this with new partners. Or, you know, you talked about it, you kind of work through a lot of it, but now it's something that, you know, you just kind of keep to yourself. It's affected the way in which, it's transformed the way in which you show up in partnerships, in relationships, the level of trust that you're capable of giving at this point in time to another. And so in some way, the residual energy of this experience with this person in your past, it has definitely transformed you. And in some way, it's showing up here as kind of a blockage to really experiencing true partnership, healthy and grounded love, which does want to come in for you. This is very much suggesting here that this is a narrative that you're telling yourself, that you are not, in fact, you know, cursed in love, or destined to just, you know, only attract kind of toxic partners, but, you know, that this experience with this person, it has really shifted your perspective. It's kind of skewed your perspective, but there is, you know, solid and reciprocal love that wants to come in. There is someone that you can trust and that you can feel safe with. You can feel safe being yourself with, being vulnerable with. You can trust, you know, what this person wants to say, that's out there for you, that's on the horizon, but it's kind of being held at bay because of this energetic barrier within yourself. This that needs to, you know, be looked at, needs to be released in some capacity, needs to be addressed. There could be a lot of, you know, just anger involved with this, kind of repressed anger for this person. And also I'm feeling some anger towards yourself for maybe not, you know, again, feeling foolish, not having recognized the red flags, putting on blinders to this person, ignoring red flags, that you feel almost like there was something you should have picked up on there. There was something that you should have known better about getting involved with a type of person like this, or, you know, putting up with maybe excuses or kind of fishy behavior, or, you know, just things that didn't add up. As you're looking at this in hindsight, you're kind of noticing some things from a different perspective. And so that's adding to this, you know, kind of this residual anger about this, and almost a mistrust in yourself now at this point about your capacity to really vet out potential partners. Like, I almost feel that if you are dating others or you've opened up to others, that it's almost too much scrutiny. There's not sort of that healthy balance of leeway and trust that is necessary in all relationships. Definitely it's important to take the things that, you know, we've been through and use those as lessons, learn from that, become wiser from that. But it's a fine line between, you know, being wise and having, you know, acquired some better skills, and then holding other people accountable for kind of the sins of the past, for the mistakes of past partners, the experiences that, you know, we've been through. And so it can sometimes, you know, start out, and this can be friendships, this can be in relation to romance, it can be, you know, in all number of ways. The things that we go through can definitely have that energetic residue that, you know, it kind of changes the way that we interact with others, how we open up with others. We become more guarded, we become less trusting. We may recognize certain ways that, again, we overlook things in the past. We may feel that we were acting kind of naively in the past. And so by seeking to course correct, it's very natural to often go to the extreme on the other side of that, of being very guarded, being very closed off, very skeptical, very suspicious. So it seems like that is something which at this point in time, you know, and maybe you've been getting some dreams of, you know, this person, this experience from the past. Maybe you've run into this person, you've heard about this person, or just something is coming up. These memories of this experience with this person is coming up for you again in the form of dreams, or in your 3D reality, or it could even just be the general sensation of that energy. Maybe you've been feeling very just like kind of frustrated, or, you know, you've been kind of telling yourself, maybe some of your self-talk is leaning in more of a negative direction of, you know, just telling yourself that you're foolish or you're naive, or, you know, even the story of that you know, you're not meant to have love in this life, and to, you know, just settle for something, maybe kind of superficial partnerships, or things that are just very casual, keeping love at arm's length, because, you know, to open yourself up, then you risk the pain that, you know, you experienced in this other relationship in the past previously. So this is definitely coming up as, you know, a blockage to, I feel, both new love that wants to come in, but also love of self, that in some way this is really affecting your love of self. It is making you really doubt yourself. It's making you very self-critical. Then in addition to putting the blame on this other person, you consciously or subconsciously shouldering a lot of the burden of that blame onto you. And I'm feeling, based on what's here, that, you know, there could have been red flags. There could have been things that you know, overlooked, or you chose to ignore, or you didn't, you know, notice. But I feel that in a large way, this person that you were dealing with, they were very skillful at, you know, this kind of duplicity, that this is maybe not the first time that they had done this to somebody in a romantic capacity, that this could be this person's pattern, their pattern of wounding being exhibited in kind of treacherous or deceitful behavior. And so it's something where, you know, you're at this point, this is coming up now, and there's no time like the present to really address those kind of difficult feelings and to release yourself from any unnecessary blame that you are taking on, as that some of this might have, that too much of it was your fault, that you should have known better, you should have done better, because that's, again, it's blocking you from really feeling worthy of love, feeling that you are deserving, and it's blocking you from trusting that, healthy love wants to come in, which it definitely does. It's right on the peripheral of your energy field. And it's not to say that, you do some journaling, do some kind of a process of releasing or cord cutting, and then the next day somebody comes in. I mean, yeah, that possibly could happen, but more than likely it's that you're starting on a process of really freeing yourself from some residual kind of pain and guilt and remorse surrounding this situation. And then through clearing your energy, kind of layer by layer of this, reinforcing that, repeating these mantras to yourself that you are worthy and you are deserving of healthy and reciprocal love, then that can really help to open up your energy and, magnetize in that type of partner that, that you're worthy of. That even if you've dealt with multiple people like this particular person, this particular experience, there's always the ability to change those patterns, to change what it is that you're attracting into your life going forward. So let's get a little bit of guidance from Spirit about this for you. Group 1. Okay, so we have B. Hard work is rewarded with responsibility and a sweetness that is shared. So Spirit is definitely confirming that, these might be some very difficult, deeply entrenched, deeply rooted feelings of unworthiness or kind of bitterness about what happened in the past. That this isn't going to be just a one and done kind of thing where, you set that intention to release, you write a letter to this person, burn it, scatter the ashes to the wind, and then all's well and good, it's alleviated. That this is going to take some deep commitment on your part to really work through these things, to really sit with that. Mantras are coming up very strongly that this is going to take, really rewiring your brain in the sense of the stories that you tell yourself about, what this experience with this particular partner or maybe a series of partners, what that means for you in terms of your worthiness of love going forward. That this is going to take some kind of regular effort in this manner. This is going to be something where you'll find yourself kind of slipping back into those defeatist thought patterns and those feelings of unworthiness, and so you're going to have to course correct yourself maybe multiple times throughout the day. And then the more you do this, it becomes easier, it becomes second nature, and then gradually and then suddenly the stories that you're telling yourself, the way that you are viewing this and viewing yourself and your worthiness, that shifts and changes over time. Okay, so we also have Samhain, death. So Samhain is the holiday of Halloween, so it's in the season of autumn, so that can be a confirmation for those of you in the southern hemisphere that are just on the cusp of entering the autumn season, that this is definitely, this is some shadow work. This releasing is something that you can do now, but Samhain and autumn, this is a time of letting the old go, letting the, that which no longer serves us, that which has, reached its expiration date, allowing that to kind of fade away, to sort of die off and be released. So it's coming up very strongly in terms of thought patterns, the way you think of yourself, the way you, the narratives that you are maybe saying about, people are all a certain way, men are all one, all men do this, or all women do that, just depending on, what your particular circumstances are, or, saying things like, that you only attract cheaters, or, people aren't really their true selves until it's too late. Like these can all be examples of narratives that you might be telling yourself. And Spirit is letting you know that this is definitely, this is holding you back. This, whatever this thought pattern is, this experience, this residual energy from this person, this experience, it's keeping you in kind of this, it's keeping you from this rebirth. into love, into experiencing the richness and fullness of love. And so cord cutting rituals, ceremonially writing letters to this person, or writing letters, to your past self even, about what occurred, what you kind of venting that frustration, that anger, that sadness, and then burning those, releasing the ashes to the wind, as I was saying earlier. All of these things, doing this in a series of occurrences, doing that repetitively can, any kind of things that you need to kind of visually or psychologically stimulate your mind into really shifting its perspective to understanding that, you kind of do these symbolic actions in order to attract in that energy of releasing, of kind of transcending and moving beyond. So Spirit is really encouraging you to do that. And that this is also keeping you stuck. It's keeping you from enjoying the fullness of, a certain capacity of your life that wants to come in, that wishes to come in. There are other experiences for you. You've learned a lot from this, and by going through this process of release, digging into that shadow, addressing it, and seeking to free yourself from it, you can also birth a more self-aware and, enlivened version of yourself as well through the process. Other things might come up. There's definitely, there's some kind of root cause to this type of experience in your life, kind of patterns that it signals that might affect other things. So once you get into that, there could be a lot of things that are uncovered, a lot that is released. It's a process too. It's something that, it's really feeling like maybe even over the next season, so the next couple months, this could be something that, you just at this point in time can make that decision to start. And then it's almost like a task that you're undertaking. But it's something that through that release, through the death of this old, mindset, this way of talking to yourself, this way of thinking about things, that you clear that space, you create that opportunity for, that energy of rebirth to come in, for that light of love and, a trust and a reciprocal relationship. You open yourself up energetically and make space for that to come in. So I'm going to get a Lord Ganesha card here because he is the remover of obstacles. So this fits in very well with the theme of this reading for you, Group 1, in terms of what do you need to release in order to let love in. Okay, so we have decision. So this is definitely a matter of, choosing something more for yourself. You can either continue to, kind of live this half life, live with these stories that you're telling yourself, live with this anger and this hurt and this pain that you've been carrying around. And you're at a crossroads now to, make that choice for something better. Open yourself up to the possibility of something new, something different than what you've experienced in the past, that this is here. And it's going to require a decision on your part to really, make that commitment, focus on that, active release and, the work that will take on a regular basis of really, monitoring your thoughts, really, self-correcting when these kind of negative and defeatist thought patterns come up, when these memories are triggered, when they come up. It's hard work, but it's work that's worth it. And with this card here in the book, there's like a little bit of advice for that I thought would be good to read with that, in addition to what, I just kind of channeled with it. And it says, consider all of your options to make an informed choice. So this is really talking to me about kind of the wisdom that you have gained through what you've been through and the ways in which you've picked yourself back up. You've kind of rebuilt yourself, albeit, with a little more, you're a little more guarded, you're a little more cautious, you look a little more into things. Perhaps for a lot of you, it's to the extreme where you don't really give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's, again, not a fault of yours, but just a result of what you've been through. So this is something where Spirit just wants you to recognize the wisdom that you've gained, not to, feel too hard on yourself about this, and maybe the ways in which this experience or series of experiences has changed you. But that now's the time to take that wisdom and to use it as a tool to your betterment, as opposed to a tool which just kind of maybe blocks you from blessings and experiences and some really wonderful love that wants to come in for you. So I'm going to get a Mother Mary card now. Get some more kind of guidance and advice for you, Group 1. Okay, so here is the artwork. And it says, Our Lady of New Vision. To outgrow that to which you once held fast is a hallmark of spiritual progress. There is wisdom in honoring the need to challenge yourself and expand your horizons. The heart is ready to aspire and toil toward a new vision. There is no need to concern yourself with how it can manifest, only to dedicate yourself step by step in moving toward it. All else is held in grace. So that is a beautiful summary of what I was saying, what came through with this. This is going to take some work. This is going to take some regular effort, some diligence on your part to really release these thought patterns, release the residual effects of this experience with this person that in a way are still kind of haunting you. This experience with this person or these series of relationships, it's haunting new relationships that you're getting in, new people that you're meeting. Kind of like the ghosts of the past are blocking the ability for you to truly open up and experience new partners, new types of energy, new experiences. And so you're definitely being guided to, just understand that this will be sort of a long battle. This will be something, this will be kind of a long-term project, a long-term task. This is not overnight kind of work, this sort of release. Some of it can be kind of messy, but it's definitely worth it to free yourself up from this energetic block that is really, it's inhibiting your ability to both attract in new love, but also to experience a sensation of being worthy and deserving. A sensation of self-forgiveness that is in some way either lacking or is severely muted within yourself because of what you've been through and, kind of what you needed to do to come beyond that, to, rise up from the ashes of this very kind of devastating experience. And so a lot of this is going to be self-forgiveness work, healing work, nurturing work, and again, releasing yourself from the shackles of this energy, but also it's going to be a process of building yourself back up, building up your own sense of worthiness and deservingness, forgiving yourself for things you might have overlooked or behaviors you tolerated, or even just attracting in this type of experience in the first place. So I'm going to close this out for you, Group 1, with a romance angel. Okay, and we have, let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So that's a beautiful closing message. And, I feel this is really encouraging you to, as you're going through this deep and heavy process of, extracting this pain from within you, really the key to that is balancing out heavy work like that with, lightness and joy. So spending time with those you love, those who love you, things that, bring you joy, continuing to pray, continuing to call upon, your angels for help, your spirit guides, your departed loved ones, your ancestors, God, Goddess, Source, Spirit, whatever you resonate with. That there is energetic support available for you in this process. It's just a matter of asking for help, and help will present itself to you, perhaps in unexpected ways, but in ways that are, very necessary for you to, help you to do this work, do this hard but very rewarding work. So those are your messages, Group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. And if you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the Labradorite. So I'm going to put that right up here. And we'll start with these oracle cards to see what do you need to release to let love in. We've got concern, journey, bad health, communal living, wars and battles, self-indulgent, Abraham, justice of pandemonium, justice, truth, duty, Taliesin, poetry, creativity, storytelling, divination, the Hierophant, the Moon, and the Ace of Wands. So this is really feeling, group 2, that for some of you, this could be deepening the love between you and a current partner. And this could be that there's a lot of tension between you and this person. You're getting on each other's nerves a lot. Maybe you've been kind of sort of trapped indoors too long, or just kind of sequestered with each other. It could have to do with, you know, the pandemic that has been going on for the last 2 years, and, you know, just people having to spend a lot more time indoors with one another, that this could have been really wearing on the connection. It could have created a lot of stress between you and this person, if this is someone you're married to or someone you're living with. This could even be, if it's not marriage, it could be like a boyfriend or girlfriend that you're cohabitating with, a partner, a long-term partnership. Somebody where they're in your living space, and it's something where maybe you've really considered moving away from this person. This could also have to do with maybe you have some roommates that, you know, you're just spending too much time with, or your lifestyles are really just clashing, or it's just kind of a toxic environment. There could be some narcissism going on in any of those circumstances, which is really it's affecting your view of the relationship. It's maybe even affecting you health-wise, making you really stressed out. You could be getting a lot of headaches about things. You could be, you know, just, it could really be diminishing your passion for this person, your passion for life in general. It's something where, you know, you're not sure because of this, you know, the conflict that's going on, this energy of conflict, and people not wanting to see things from the other perspective, not seeing eye to eye, a lot hidden, a lot that's not really expressed, but is coming out in other ways in the form of tensions, arguments, disagreements, that there's really concern for the future of this connection. Can this connection withstand? What is going to remain in the aftermath of this? Or is, you know, this experience with this person, or this time period, this period in the world that we are living in, is this going to be something which, you know, is this relationship going to survive? Is this marriage going to survive? Is there enough passion and enough desire on both people's parts to continue to work through this, continue to work through this stress? You know, it can also, stress from environmental factors can also kind of sometimes bring out the worst in people. So again, maybe stress from what's going on in the world, you know, what's happening in our current global situation on varying levels. This could be stress, as far as maybe some job concerns, uncertainty of the future that is kind of really, it's weighing heavily upon you, upon this person, and it's really causing you both to kind of be at odds with each other. Very irritable energy here, very kind of reactive energy here. So where, previously this relationship, there could have been a lot of harmony between the both of you, that something has really shifted. You've been at this period of time, or I'm really feeling that for a lot of you, this is relating to specifically over the last 2 years, particularly since the pandemic started, lockdowns, people are really, they're in close proximity, close quarters with each other. This could also be something where maybe you are at a distance with this person. You're both, you're not able to see each other as much. Maybe you don't live together. And so you've kind of just been, locked in your own homes, so to speak, kind of away from each other and having to really at a distance try to maintain this relationship. Whereas before, maybe you had the ability to go to your own places, your own space, but then you had a lot of opportunity to get together, out and about, maybe in, community settings and friendship groups, that's all been put on hold for quite a while. And so it's really affecting the stability of this relationship, the kind of the long-term quality, or the hope of the future of this connection. And so it's something that you're both in your heads about this, as far as, that things seem to be deteriorating, things seem to be getting worse rather than getting better, rather than, the two of you coming together more strongly. You seem to be really kind of, there's a lot of friction here. There's a friction between, desire for each other and the reality of the situation, the reality of what's possible. There could be a sense of, duty in terms of, if this is a marriage, really feeling that you need to stick it out. Maybe this is something where, some kind of unhealthy traits in this person have really surfaced recently. And it's something where you feel almost oath-bound to stick it out because of maybe your ideas about marriage or about commitment. Maybe you're kind of opposed to the idea of divorce, but it's something that, the tension that's coming up, maybe some of, narcissistic tendencies in this person, or some toxic traits that are really coming to the surface, kind of these things that are hidden being revealed. Things that, weren't so apparent, or that this person, kept kind of buried beneath. They kind of masked over with their, putting their best foot forward, presenting the best version of self. And as, some time has gone on, or again, even just kind of triggered by sort of the world situation, maybe something to do with their finances, with work, with uncertainty about the future. Some of these characteristics are really coming out, and you're seeing a whole new side of them, a side that, is really kind of repelling you. It's really negatively impacting your view on this relationship and how, fulfilling it can be long term. But there can be a sense of duty to, stick with this person, to love them in sickness and health, for better or worse, richer for poorer. But it's something that's really, it's taking its toll on you as well, to hold fast to that commitment, to stay true to those vows, to stick it out with this person, because, it's becoming more and more difficult to create harmony, to really have some balance. There's a lot of friction, a lot of fighting that could be taking place here. Yeah, and so this is something where, there's a lot of energy of lamentation as well. You're really lamenting perhaps the choice to, marry this person, or to get together with this person, or lamenting what you see as perhaps the inevitable conclusion of this relationship, that this is just not sustainable, this is not tenable, this cannot continue long term. And so you could be at kind of a crossroads of kind of grieving this relationship as what you feel is kind of on the downward spiral. It's kind of on the descendant. It's deteriorating. So this can be something then in regards to, coming to that awareness where you both need to maybe release each other, that this tension is, it's just too much. It's taking a toll on so many other things, so many other ways. Maybe some, again, characteristics about this person that are really coming out, that you're seeing a whole other side of them. And so there's this need to kind of be very honest about that, recognize what you are being shown, instead of kind of looking for what you hope will be there, instead of focusing purely on the light you recognize inside them. Definitely taking into account what is happening. But then with a certain degree of measure, there's also perhaps this need to kind of release some triggering, to understand that maybe you both are coming from a highly charged, a highly triggered, a highly anxious state, that maybe what's going on in the world, or in your personal lives at this point in time, it's taking a toll on both of you, that this is a two-way street. Recognizing that, as downtrodden and as hopeless as you might feel, that this person is most likely feeling that as well, that this tension is recognized by them, these fights, this battles, this conflict, it's not making them feel good either. And so this can almost be a call to really release kind of seeing things from one way, release the sort of the vision of things from your perspective, taking a wider view of things, seeing what you're not seeing, recognizing this person's underlying motivations, and really, in good times and bad, sickness and health, this can be the point where that is being tested for you, where you're really being called to step up to that, to really stick it out with this person, to kind of shift the perspective from that you are not at war with each other, but you are on each other's side, battling these circumstances that you find yourselves in, the circumstances of the world, the apathy of other people, the tension of other people, the tension that is just so tangible and rife within our world right now, and is just being experienced and expressed in a variety of ways. And so maybe moving into that space of compassion, releasing the need to be right, releasing the need to really keep things the way that they are, understand that the world and your relationship is in a period of flux. And with all relationships, regardless of the current or recent world circumstances we find ourselves in, relationships in general, they go through phases. There's definitely that honeymoon phase, that it's the beginning stages of the relationship. It can last for quite a long time, where things are great, you're in harmony, you're getting each other, you're vibing with each other. Inevitably something will shift. There'll either be some kind of a circumstance of challenge, where you start to see kind of those shadowy aspects of the other person come up. Your shadow starts to express itself. There's conflict, there's tension, there's challenge within the relationship. And a lot of people don't make it past that point. They give up. They go their separate ways. They're not willing or able to really stick it through, to fight things through. They instead move off in another direction. And that's not to say one is better or worse, one way of being or responding to that, or one decision is better or worse. It's just, that's just the way it is some people will, stick things out. You'll be challenged in the relationship, and that will be, that love, that passion, you both grip more firmly to that, to weather that storm together. And other times for other people in other relationships, then it signals a parting of the ways to then perhaps align with someone who, is more in harmony, that when those natural challenges occur in that relationship, the energy exchange between the both of them, or just where they're at in their life, maybe the lessons or perspective they've come to, they're more willing or able to stick things out, to overcome challenges, to really, walk through that darkness hand in hand, being the light for each other in whatever way you can, until, your circumstances lighten themselves, or, you kind of pass through that. Pass through the storms. But this definitely feels like a stormy time within a current relationship with you, for most of you, group 2, where you find yourself at this kind of crossroads, maybe needing to release the need to be right in order to deepen this love, to really dig down, kind of release a fixation on what is happening in the 3D world, the world around you. Disconnect from that. Disconnect from taking in a lot of media. Disconnect from, really kind of obsessive or anxious thoughts about the future, about what's happening right now, and to really, kind of go into this almost like a hermit mode, really just going within to really recognize that, this connection is important, this love for this person is important, to recognize that this is just kind of a season of conflict. It might even be a long season of conflict, kind of an entrenched period of stress, but that it is something that eventually that will have to shift, it will have to give. And so maybe releasing kind of this need to be right now, this expectation that things would be the way that they were between you and this person, to understand that, it's a transitional period in your relationship in general. It's just maybe a natural transitional period beyond that honeymoon phase into the challenge state where, beyond that you have this potential to grow into an ever-deepening appreciation and love and bond with each other. Or for some of you, this could be that period of time where you're needing to release this fixation on this person being the one, or trying so hard to make this work, this relationship work at, the expense of yourself, your own peace of mind, your physical health even, your mental health, your emotional health. And so it could be time to, release that and, step into some self-love, move in that direction, choose yourself and your own health and your own happiness over, trying to keep something together that is broken, that is wanting to fall away. So let's get some guidance from Spirit about this for you, group 2. Okay, so we've got Panda. Enjoy the sanctuary of solitude to regain self-esteem and tranquility. So yeah, that's that hermit energy that I was just picking up on, about really this need to go within and, seek out that core of love between you and this person. If this is something that, you feel that you want to salvage, if this is something that, you're needing to release, maybe the way in which you both are looking at each other, interacting, or how you're showing up in this relationship in order to preserve it long term. It's a time to really go within, to recognize the ways in which, you're contributing to the stress or the irritability of the relationship. And, you can only really take care of your side of the street. So the work at this point in time you could, be encouraged to do by Spirit is to, look within and see, what do you need to release? How are you showing up? What are some things that you might need to correct that can add to, a more harmony or a smoother connection between you and this person? This can also be something where, you might need to do some soul searching and really evaluate, what is this doing? What is the tension of this relationship doing? What is holding on to this dream of, making things work with this person, or a sense of duty or obligation to, stick this through those good times and bad, through sickness and health. And maybe it's coming at the expense of your health, your peace of mind, or it's something which it only realistically increasingly gets worse and does not get better. And so this can be the time to really, look within and see, is this what love should feel like to you? Is this what, you recognize love as, or are you somehow duty bound, or you've got maybe some ideas or some stories you've been telling yourself, some narratives that, you were kind of ingrained with from childhood about, fidelity in marriage, and maybe being opposed to divorce, or, sticking through things through thick and thin. And perhaps that comes at the expense of, your own peace of mind. It diminishes you just to keep things afloat, or you're the only one actively working to preserve things, which creates, this inequality, this imbalance. So this can really be the time to go in, see what stories you're telling yourself and what you need to release in order to, take a realistic view on the situation, on the relationship, and really determine what needs to be done, what needs to shift, in order to truly create that tranquility, for yourself and also for this person. So let's get some more guidance for you, group 2. Okay, and we have Yule, rebirth. So Yule is a holiday in the season of winter, which at the time that I'm recording this video, we're just in the last few days of winter. It's really coming to a close. So this, winter is a quiet time. Things are still, not a lot happening. That can definitely, pertain to the world situation or, people's lives right now in a lot of ways where it's kind of still. It's a lot of, being inside, that energy of going within. So that can be a confirmation in that sense for you as well. But definitely this need to go within, to search within, to really search your soul beyond any commitments you've made, beyond any ideas of what partnership should look like, what love should look like, how you should be duty bound to love in any capacity. But this is a time to really either reignite the passion within this relationship, reignite the fire, reignite the commitment to one another, the commitment to sticking this through, recognizing that, this is just a season of difficulty, and to really lean upon each other, partner with each other. Instead of seeing each other as opposing forces, recognize that you are in fact on the same side, and, make that effort to really work as a team, to have some more communication, to really speak what you're feeling, encourage your partner to open up. You can do that. You can set the example by opening up yourself, and there can be this opportunity for a rebirth in this connection with this person. But this is also really talking again about that energy of, that solitude, that hermit, that like going inside to see what it is that you want for yourself. Does this feel good for you? Is this something, if there were no end to this, if these are, say, qualities of this person that are coming out that, maybe now independent of what's happening in the world, this is just, things that you're discovering now at this point in the partnership. Is this worth fighting for? Is this worth something? Is this something that you want to live with for the rest of your life? This type of interaction, or these traits, or these characteristics, these qualities? Or is this something where, this is the time to let this go, to kind of renew your hope that there will be a partner that will come for you, that you will meet, that will be in better alignment with you, with your values, that will meet you on equal ground. Kind of reframing those narratives, those stories that you might tell, or even circumstances maybe that you grew up with in childhood, that, marriage and love and commitment, it always leads to tension and fights and arguments. And, if you're not fighting for love, then it's not, it's not as worth it. If it just comes easy, then maybe it's too good to be true, or it's not as deep. Some of you might have this ingrained notion of, that again, conflict and fighting for love is what makes it true. It makes it genuine. Or that fighting is just a natural part of, long-term partnerships. So really having to, at this point, maybe go within, analyze those narratives, and really perhaps then make a commitment to self, to acting in a self-loving manner, choosing yourself, choosing your happiness, choosing something different than what you have experienced, or what you are currently experiencing in this relationship. So I'm going to get a Lord Ganesha card for you now, group 2, and he is the remover of obstacles. This is very appropriate for the topic of this reading, in terms of what do you need to release to let love in. And we have courage. So this is definitely, encouraging you to summon that courage, either the courage to really, stick it out with this person, to work through these issues, these troubles, releasing this notion of maybe short-sightedness and taking a wider view, releasing perhaps this urge to really forfeit, to really surrender this connection, and with courage understanding that, you both are going through some battles, some very, tough times, that the world is going through some transitions, and making this commitment then to work with this partner on a team level, as opposed to, being in opposition to one another. This can also be, you know, this courage to release maybe some narratives that you've been telling yourself, or that you've been kind of ingrained with, these narratives about commitment and marriage, and perhaps aversion to divorce, or, you know, these narratives even that, you know, this is your person, this person is the one, and you're going to do whatever it takes to, you know, keep this relationship together, keep this relationship intact. And that could really be resulting in you doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and this person maybe just, you know, not contributing as much, almost at the expense of even your energetic health, that you're giving more than you're receiving in this relationship. So for this card I'm going to read, there's like a little kind of like a little saying associated with it in the book, so that can have some other messages as well. And for courage, the message is, the warmth of your open heart can give comfort to all who cross your path. So that's very fitting in terms of the topic, the theme of this reading, to, you know, let love in, open that heart, either opening your heart to, you know, a different love experienced in a different way, opening your heart to a different narrative, or opening your heart even to this partner more that you're with, this current person that, you know, what you're needing to release is this kind of resistance, or only maybe seeing things from your perspective, just, you know, reacting as opposed to responding. That could be a lot of what's happening here with this conflict energy. And so by releasing the need to be right, by releasing the need to have things your way, to understand that this could be a very tense time in general for this person and for you as well. You could just be at this period of, that's your challenge in this relationship, is to work on compromise, you know, giving as well as receiving, creating that reciprocity, really, you know, making some adjustments within yourself and, you know, with how you respond to this person, respond to maybe how they handle pressure, how they handle stress, how they handle rejection, how they handle loss, how they handle uncertainty, some of these shadowy qualities that come up, instead of maybe just throwing in the towel right away and saying, well, I don't like this, I can't have this, you know, taking that wider perspective, again, releasing the need to be right, opening your heart to, you know, have compassion for this person, see things from their perspective, understand the stress and the fear which could be happening in them as well. And really just releasing also, I feel this over concern that, well, the relationship is doomed, it's all just for nothing, it's not going to work, it's going to fail, that, you know, you could be definitely undergoing a challenge at this point in time with this partner, but that it's an opportunity to rise to that challenge, to have courage, to open your heart. It's an opportunity for rebirth and a reinvigoration of passion, a deepening of that commitment to each other, as well as you both, you know, move from kind of being adversaries to teammates in this capacity. So let's get a Mother Mary card for you, group 2, for some more guidance. Okay, so this is the artwork on the card. And it says, Our Lady of the Rose Child. Our Lady protects you from unnecessary struggle, yet there are some challenges that are essential for your soul growth. These challenges will not be withheld from you because you are entitled to become your full self. You are currently outgrowing that which is too small for your soul. There may be suffering, but out of this will come a deep healing, self-love, and gratitude. Your freedom shall come swiftly. So that's a beautiful message here in terms of, you know, maybe outgrowing and kind of leaving behind and releasing some ideas about, you know, this sense of duty, this oath obligation to a particular type of partnership, a particular person, feeling duty bound to, you know, just really put up with some very kind of toxic and draining behaviors or characteristics simply because of the nature of your commitment to this person. This can also really indicate that this is a challenging time in your relationship with somebody, but, you know, that the challenges will pass, that this is for the growth and the deepening of your love with this person. that on the other side of this, you will, you're going to see some shadows, but you're also going to discover some strengths within each other, that there really is the potential to, truly align on a deeper level, to really be there for one another, be that rock for one another, in small ways and big ways. It's really an opportunity to kind of strengthen the love in sort of the more subtle aspects that go beyond just attraction or friends in common, or having hobbies that you like, or just kind of these more surface level things that connect two people. But this is a deep commitment on a soul level of partnership, of really putting those words into practice, of really, being that support even when things are not so good, even when this person is not showing their best face. That there's an opportunity here to, have gratitude for each other, have gratitude for, the support that was offered to each other when maybe nothing could be offered in return. This could be an opportunity for you to, again, release this need to be right. Release this need to always have this tranquility and harmony within this connection. Release the need to give up when things get difficult, and to really step into that role of, perhaps being that strength for this other person, being this rock for that other person, allowing that person to be, the strength and the rock for you as well. So I'm going to close this reading for you, group 2, with a Romance Angels card. Kind of final words of advice from Spirit for you. Okay, and we have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So this can go one of two ways. This can either be, again, if you feel very duty or oath bound to stick it out with a partner just because, you've been with them for a while, you consider them the one, maybe you have certain ideas about once you marry somebody, that's a forever kind of thing. And sort of the qualities that are being demonstrated are, they're really taking away from you, from your peace of mind. There's something which, you really feel are diminishing of you. These are not, just temporary things, but these are, maybe some toxicity or some narcissism that's going on. And so this guidance is really, advising you to recognize that, not try to sugarcoat over that, to, ignore that, or to feel so obligated to, these stories that you were telling yourself, these belief systems. If it, comes at the ideas like that of, this deep and kind of eternal loyalty, these are wonderful notions. They can also sometimes, though, lead into the realm of, at the expense of the health and safety and well-being of a person, because they feel so obligated to that title or that belief system. So if you see red flags in that capacity, then this can definitely be the time to, work to release these ideas that you have to, what the commitment looks like, or, ideas of remaining with this person if it's truly like a toxic environment and it's just really detrimental. This can also be red flags in the sense of if you're just taking a very stubborn kind of look on things, and you're very focused on maybe the period of conflict that you're in with this person, and not taking that wider view, not maybe seeing how this person is struggling, how they're maybe scared or anxious or worried, and maybe they don't have a good way of showing it. They don't know how to express those feelings in a healthy way. They're trying to kind of keep that hidden from you, to appear very stoic, to remain strong, to not feel like they're burdening you with these things, but then it's coming out in other ways through tension, fights, arguments. There could be some red flags where, you're considering throwing in the towel, but, you're being guided to this core of love that exists between the both of you, that this is just a season of challenge. It's kind of like that winter period where, it's a very kind of, there's sort of a void of warmth between you and this person, but that this is not, the red flag might be that to throw in the towel at this point, you're sacrificing so much love and the potential to really grow stronger, to get to, really appreciate and be bonded together at a soul level. So, in either circumstance, before you, make any decisions, really, I feel with this whole reading here for you, group 2, is, some introspection. praying about this, meditating about this, looking at the signs, really being very honest with yourself. What are the stories you're telling yourself? What are, just some kind of surface circumstances, and how can those be worked through? What are some ways in which you can work to, kind of alleviate the tension and the conflict within the relationship? Or is this something where, you're prolonging the inevitable, that, this relationship needs to end for, your own health and well-being, and that moving in the direction of self-love is really the best choice for you at this point in time? So, there could again be some stories that you're telling yourself, or, some kind of to your own peril beliefs about obligation that you might want to release. You might want to work toward releasing that, releasing those old patterns, those old habits, those old stories, to welcome in a new perspective. And also, for others of you, releasing this need to be right, this need to kind of flee from conflict, that this is an opportunity to really step up and strengthen your partnership, to move from the adversarial perspective into one of, fighting on the same side, fighting for this connection, for each other, against other circumstances, against, the kind of the atmosphere of the outside world, which could be, stressing both of you out, and kind of it's having its effects then on your relationship. It's struggling, it's attempting to kind of bring your relationship down. And so this can be, releasing the influence that, these kind of outside circumstances have, and how that's manifesting in both of you as individuals, and, releasing perhaps this idea of all is lost, to turn to a more hopeful perspective that, this struggle, it's just a season of struggle, and beyond that there will be this rebirth. There is love here, and by holding to that love, you can really help to conquer some of these challenges together. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you would like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the quartz. Put that right up here. And we'll start with these oracle cards to see what do you need to release in order to let love in. We've got gift, unexpected income, toil and labor, orphan, finances, emptiness, Morgan Le Fay, the Witch of Ages, atonement, growth, deceit, Excalibur, sovereignty, power, action, truth, the Two of Wands, the Five of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. So I'm feeling for group 3. There's something that you're hesitating embarking on out of a fear of failure. This could be some kind of endeavor, some kind of artistic pursuit, or a change in careers or jobs that you have really you've been putting off out of fear. Again, fear of failure, fear of it not working out, fear of maybe that changes your financial circumstances. And this fear of, a new beginning, of taking action in the direction of your dreams, it is really acting as a block, which, it kind of morphs into other areas of your life. In terms of love, it can manifest itself as, a kind of a hesitancy to open yourself up maybe to partners that don't, they're still in the process of becoming, they're still in the process of really establishing themselves in the material world. This could be something where maybe you've been with partners before where, you argued a lot about money, or it was very one-sided where you were, paying all the bills, you were really supporting the other person. You were working very hard, and maybe this person, they weren't being completely upright with you. They weren't offering a lot to the connection. They were just taking from the connection. There was a lot of conflict. This person was, maybe taking and keeping their sights on other horizons as far as, looking for the next thing, looking for someone that would, support them at a different level, or, that could contribute more to them, could, give more to them, even if not in a financial sense, just in terms of appearances, somebody that would look more flashy, somebody that would look, better on their arms, so to speak. And it's something where you could have been really betrayed in the past. You could have been left, given a lot to a relationship. Even aside from finances, you've given a lot in the past to people, and it has only left, you've ended up being, abandoned. You've ended up, you give and maybe the other person has just taken. There's not been a lot of reciprocity there. a lot of conflict and a lot of, again, just people, maybe you've had partners in the past that really were just concentrated on looking for the next best thing. There wasn't an equal give and take. Maybe you give so much of yourself, even to, friends or family, just things in general, things you're passionate about, almost to the point of depleting yourself. And then feeling very isolated and alone when you don't get that reciprocity, when people aren't investing that same measure back into you. You could, again, be somebody who really maybe feels the need to kind of earn or buy other people's love or respect through gifts, through overgiving of your time. Maybe you have this feeling that setting up boundaries or barriers in terms of, your time, what you're willing to give, what you're willing to invest in yourself. There's this fear of doing that for fear of then being rejected or being left out in the cold. Because if you maybe feel if you're not giving, that people will not receive you just as you are, that you must kind of prove your worthiness or prove your love to others. This could also be something where maybe you have you've attracted people that you've felt sorry for, that have made you feel sorry for them. There's been a lot of deceit in that sense, kind of people telling, sob stories, and then you feel this need to give of your time, give of your attention, give of finances, help people out financially. This could be something where, you've really been taken advantage of in that sense by people in a friend capacity. Family members could be doing this or could have done this, romantic partners. And so this over-giving, it's really something which is a block to you receiving. It's something which leaves you feeling very battered, being very much, maybe you're the shoulder that everybody comes to cry on, but then when you have a struggle, nobody is there for you. When you look for somebody to really lean upon, somebody to give to you, give words of advice, give wisdom, give support, you've come up empty-handed. Suddenly then, people are too busy. They can't listen. They can't help you. There's not, they ridicule you or mock you or move away from you. Maybe they do, stop contact when it comes time for that reciprocity. They don't give into the connection in the same way in which they're wanting to receive. And so this is something which, again, you could be feeling almost giving to the point of depletion, which again blocks you from receiving. There's this need on your part to really and this isn't, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but this could be your love language, is to show love through gifts, through helping people. Maybe you have a lot of success, and so it feels very natural to you to help others when they are in need. You could also have a lot of wisdom. You could be very intelligent. And so it's something where, people come to you for advice a lot. They come to you to help, work through their problems. But this is something where, you don't have that same support system, that same sounding board. Those same people do not make themselves available to you when you are going through a tough time. And so you're kind of just left alone with that. You're left alone to kind of fight your battles. You're left alone to, just kind of deal with things, to work through things. There could have been people, also, again, a lot of deceit that maybe took place. People, asking for things, asking for help in certain matters, presenting themselves to be a certain way. Maybe relationships, again, of the past that were very unbalanced financially, where you were kind of taking care of somebody. And so it's made you hesitant to open up maybe to people that are just trying to make their way in the world, or that might not be as financially, stable or as successful as you because of what you've been through in the past, either in romance or with other people. But then in some way it's good to have standards and things that you want, but in some way it's blocking you from, friendships or experiences or even romance with somebody that, maybe they're in the process of becoming, but that doesn't mean that they would stay there forever. Like maybe somebody's a student, and so you've kind of, turned your nose up at that because they are not in their profession yet. But at the end of time, when they are done with their schooling, then perhaps that person would be very successful and would be able to, really really support themselves. And so you could have overlooked that in the past because of the stage of development and growth they were at, because of experiences maybe with others that took advantage of you financially, that kind of stayed that perpetual student. This could even be, you know, children that you've had, children that you have that, you know, just were kind of taking and really not doing anything with that. You know, and it kind of made you hesitant then to really involve yourself with people that had maybe, you know, decided to go back to school, to change careers, or really starting to reestablish themselves somewhere. But this can also be that, you know, you are hesitant about maybe shifting directions in your own life, taking action on, again, what came up initially, this idea of, you know, maybe a creative pursuit or changing careers, and, you know, that there's this fear of lack, or fear of failure, or fear of not being able to support yourself, maybe not having a lot of support around you, others you can lean on. And that by, you know, that fear then kind of permeating other areas of your life to where, you know, there's a fear of even taking a chance in relationships. So this definitely feels like an energy for you, group 3, probably of, you know, manifesting. It's something to release in order to allow new love to come in. Primarily releasing this energy of overgiving of your time, of your resources, of your, you know, your energy to others, that you know, you're giving so much that there's not a healthy balance in terms of receiving. So at this point in time, that can definitely be, you know, this need to maybe people please, or to fix people's problems, create solutions for people. That can be financial, that can be in the form of, you know, guidance and advice, to really seek to kind of disconnect from that urge or that inclination to be the helper, to be the fixer, to be the one who takes action and, you know, really helps to smooth things out for other people. That can be something, you know, these are lessons that you have maybe learned, where overgiving, that has led you to a place of deficit. It has maybe emotionally exhausted you. It's caused burnout. Or again, when that point of reciprocity comes and you need a shoulder to cry on, that a lot of these people maybe in the past that you've helped in various ways, they really have, you know, they've not shown up for you. They've not stepped up in the same way that you have for them. And so it's something where, you know, you could also, some of you, be really then blocked off. Maybe you overgave in the past, overgave in love. That can be tangible things. That can be love, attention, time. And you encountered kind of a deceitful energy, an energy that only was taking and didn't want to give anything back. And so you're kind of weary. You're sort of like with this 9 of Wands, this kind of wounded warrior. You've been wounded in love by overgiving in the past, being taken advantage of in the past. And so it's kind of blocking you off to receiving new love, maybe love coming in different forms, even new friendships. If you have friends that these have been very one-sided about, it's kind of this block to opening yourself up to the love of friendship. So definitely this can be, you know, something to consider, and that you're being guided to really recognize within yourself. Where has overgiving, where have you, you know, just kind of deprived yourself of some very, you know, just kind of base energy that's necessary for, you know, a harmonious existence? Where have you really denied yourself? You've not acted in a self-loving manner by expecting reciprocity, expecting to be valued and appreciated, because you've placed the value of others above your own, or, you know, the wants and needs of others above your own. What are some of the ways that you know, have kind of abandoned yourself? You've orphaned yourself through that, by again prioritizing others at the expense of yourself in a variety of ways. So that can definitely be something to work on releasing, this, you know, inclination to people please, or this energy of overgiving at the expense of yourself and your own peace of mind and happiness. So let's get some guidance from Spirit about this for you, group 3. Okay, and we've got Bear. Nurture creativity and return to the sweetness of life. So that can be a confirmation in terms of those of you that this resonated with, this hesitancy to maybe embark on a career change or some kind of creative pursuit that you're maybe wanting to do for a living, that this fear is kind of holding you back, this fear of failure that is kind of then melting into your life in other ways. And it could even be, you know, manifesting as a fear of love, fearing that you're not good enough for a love connection, a healthy and reciprocal partnership. Maybe you've really kind of abandoned some of your authenticity in the past in order to kind of mold yourself into the version of whatever you thought who you were with wanted. And that's something that it's really left you feeling open or empty, orphaned. It hasn't worked out to your advantage, kind of giving away your power, giving away of yourself for the benefit of somebody else. So by kind of stepping back into that authenticity, that feeling of worthiness as well, that, you know, like it says here, return. So this energy of receptivity, shifting your focus from just feeling the need to overgive or to give people what they want, or, you know, to be the kind of partner that somebody will find attractive, and instead move into your honest and your true expression of self, and moving into this state of receptivity, knowing that when you shine as your authentic self and you really advocate for yourself, then you can attract in others who will, you know, give as much as they receive. When you overgive of yourself, then you're sending a message that you don't value yourself, that somehow you are not as worthy or deserving, or your needs don't matter. And so we teach people how to treat us. And that's not to put the blame on you. You know, these circumstances that you might have experienced, these encounters, these can all be lessons that, you know, there are people in the world who will take and they are not interested in giving back. It bespeaks of a huge deficit within themselves, a void within themselves that, you know, they're seeking to fill. And until they recognize that and do that work of, again, filling their own cup, nurturing themselves, then it manifests in terms of kind of deceitful behavior or only taking and not having the capacity or willingness to give to others in the sense of emotional support, or, you know, even to the extreme like financial or tangible support. So Spirit is really encouraging you to release any of that, any feelings of lack, feelings of not being good enough, feelings of needing to prove your worthiness to others, or to somehow, you know, be a certain way or give a certain something in order to, you know, have people around you, to move into this state of being very comfortable with who you are, recognizing what you have to give, your gifts, your attributes, the beautiful qualities about you, that urge to give and to help others. That's very beautiful. It's something that you should honor and cherish, but it's also something that you need to protect, like this bear, just very ferocious and imposing. And you need to maybe have some discernment as far as who you're giving to, how much of yourself you're giving, and, you know, establishing some barriers for yourself. In terms of, you know, knowing when you're overgiving, you're verging on depletion, and to pull back your energy to really, you know, fill yourself, fill your own cup, and to open yourself up to receive, for, you know, that sends that message to others that it's a two-way street, that you have this beautiful light and energy and this givingness of spirit. But with that comes the understanding, it comes the agreement that there will be, you require something given back to you as well. There must be an equal energy exchange. You know, if you're paying for dinners out for somebody, then there's the expectation that they need to pay sometimes too. If you're being that shoulder to cry on for somebody, or that person who gives advice, then there's that expectation that when you are in need, that this person needs to be there. They need to at least be willing to listen, or, you know, provide that safe space for you to express yourself, to kind of process things for yourself. So let's get some more guidance for you, Group 3 from Spirit, about what you need to release to let love in. Okay, and we've got Mabon, balance. So Mabon is a festival in the fall. It is a harvest festival. So this is a festival of fruits. fruits and vegetables, kind of the richness, the sweetness. And so this is really, to me, speaking about, recognizing within yourself this beautiful and very nurturing energy that you have, and, really focusing on nourishing yourself, filling your own cup, setting those boundaries, recognizing the bounty that you have, but that there's a need to release this overgiving or allowing others to take to the point of depleting you. Like on this tree, and we've got these apples, so that wisdom, that knowledge, that fruit, and that sweetness. And you may have had people in your life before, even romantic partnerships, where you allow them to just take until you are completely bare and then move on, leaving you with a feeling of emptiness, not giving something back, not nurturing, but only there to take what they can get. And so with this full moon, with this energy, with this release, it's releasing that need to overgive, feeling that, your purpose is only to give, that you are somehow only worthy if you are giving to others, or that, you're not worthy of somebody just being in your company, just enjoying you without what you have to offer. Moving into that space within yourself. I feel a lot of this is, this release it's both in the way in which you're approaching the world and interacting with others, but it's also a mindset. There's something here with the sense of worthiness and the sense of deserving, and recognizing that, you have this beautiful energy. You have this, this beautiful light inside of you, and it's something that needs to be cultivated, and it needs to be protected. And it's something which, because you might have experienced people in the past that only wanted to take, that this is not the way that all people will be with you. But to honor yourself, to know how sacred and precious and cherished your energy is, and setting those boundaries, setting those limits, demanding that reciprocity, then you're able to really magnetize in people, partners, and that can be romantic, friendship, in just many capacities of, you're teaching people how to treat you. And so by, again, releasing this need to overgive, you can open yourself up to receiving a rich reciprocity of love to you. So let's get a Lord Ganesha card. He is the remover of obstacles. So this is very fitting with this energy of this reading, as far as what do you need to release in order to let love in. Group 3. Okay, and we have splendor. So this is really speaking to me about, again, recognizing just how beautiful your energy is, just how much you have to give, releasing any feelings of not being good enough, or your worth only residing in what you can give to others, how you can be a support system to others, what you can provide to others. By releasing that need to kind of overgive, that feeling of needing to overgive, to maybe overcompensate for some self-esteem issues or feelings of lack within yourself, then you open yourself up to that splendor of love, that beautiful love, that transforming love that will really, I feel, transform your ideas of what love can look like, what relationships can look like. I feel a lot of you may not have had very many reciprocal relationships across the board. That could be romance. That could also be in terms of maybe friends or family, just even coworkers. Maybe people kind of take advantage of your generous and giving nature, your generosity of spirit within the workplace even. And it's very one-sided. You give to the point of depletion, of emptiness, of being completely drained. Which then kind of affects your outlook and your hopefulness and the joy in which you're experiencing. It could affect you physically as well, being so energetically depleted. And just this sense of really being isolated, being lonely, not being that shoulder that people turn to, but not having that for yourself. So by releasing this need to overgive, or this feeling that you are only worthy if you are giving, your only value is what you have to offer to others in maybe a tangible or an exterior way. Maybe it has to do with looks, or again, your finances, or being that person to kind of step in and problem solve, fix things for others. By releasing that, you open yourself up to some beautiful and reciprocal relationships. So the message out of the book with this card is: seek and honor the beauty and splendor that is within and around you. So that ties in really wonderfully here with, you know, recognizing how precious and just how beautiful your energy is, what you have to give, even this inclination to give, this very giving nature, that this is something to be cherished, honored, and protected. So you're being challenged at this point in time to really stand up and advocate for yourself. Be that fierce bear, you know, that mother bear that is fiercely protective of her cubs. That cub being this very, you know, just beautiful light inside of you. And, you know, this is not to say to become hard or harsh, but some boundaries are definitely necessary. Setting down some ultimatums as far as, you know, you expect to receive. You give, and therefore you expect to receive. And by doing that, by honoring that part of yourself, that beautiful and giving nature, releasing this belief system that you must give in order to be worthy, or, you know, that's your complete purpose here is just to give, and allowing even those that give little or nothing back to you to continue to siphon your energy. By setting up those boundaries, then, you know, you do open yourself up to receiving love in a variety of manners. So I'm going to get a Mother Mary card now, some more guidance. Okay, so this is the artwork on this card. And it says, Our Lady who prevents interference. No fear shall prevent your forward movement. No obstruction shall overcome your destiny. Her love for you is more powerful than any sabotage or confusion. You can bear witness to darkness in your mind and the world around you, and then bring your attention back to your peaceful sanctuary within your heart. Stay true to your path while you trust in your sacred purpose and her protection. So this is some beautiful advice here in terms of, you know, this giving nature that you have. This is not something that you should seek to release, that you should seek to, you know, squelch. It is something that should be nurtured, and it should be cherished and honored. It's something that you should protect. Don't allow people to, you know, interfere with your peace of mind, or, you know, interfere with your self-esteem by convincing you that the only value you have is in what you can give, what you can offer to others, what that looks like on the outside, how you fit into their life, into their world, what they can gain from you. You're at this point right now, at this kind of pivot point where you're being challenged to really protect that very giving part of yourself. Protect that from those that would take advantage of that, or would, you know, take to the point of depleting you, and then would, you know, not be available when you needed, would not be interested or capable of giving back. That this giving within you, this very, you know, this healing energy as well, kind of this desire to heal and help and, you know, smother problems with love in any capacity that they may present themselves. This is very beautiful, and it is something which, you know, with some boundary setting, you can attract in relationships and partners, romantic and otherwise, that will meet you at that level, that will respect these boundaries. While setting boundaries, you know, some people may find that very threatening. They may be very upset by that. It can be something which, you know, you might have some fear as far as setting boundaries, fear of what people, you know, the reaction of people, fear of people leaving because you've you know, set those boundaries. You've said no, you've held back, you've restrained from overgiving. And Spirit just wants you to know that, you know, you're protected during this, that it can be scary to say no, whereas you may have always said yes, but this is very crucial to you stepping into a fuller life, a fuller experience of love and of relationships. And, you know, by walking through that fear, knowing that you're protected, that this is part of your purpose also is, you know, very being measured in that love that you have to give, because it is so sacred and it is so healing and nurturing. And there's a reason that, you know, you've attracted these people in these circumstances that just want to take, because it's so sustaining and so nourishing, the light you have to give. But now you are at this place where, you know, it's your time to receive as well. You're entitled to receive. You shouldn't be giving just completely at the expense of yourself. That is not your purpose. by really having your own needs met and filling your own cup, having others around you that will support you and will fill you energetically. It helps you to maintain and sustain this beautiful light within you, and it helps you to properly give that, to apply that where necessary, to harness that, to utilize that, to give that, to help others on their journey, not to function as like a power source, a battery pack for others who can just come and kind of recharge themselves as they will, but then give nothing back. So again, any kind of fear about setting boundaries, you're very much protected, you're encouraged. This is, it can be scary. Change can be scary. Changing the way in which you've interacted can be scary. Some people won't like it, and you may find some people kind of falling away from your life. But, if it's making you feel fear and you feel like, that you're doing something wrong, Spirit wants you to know that you're in fact doing something right. You're kind of vetting out the people that it was only a one-sided relationship, that did not seek or were not capable of giving and only wanted to take. And as these people kind of fall away and these circumstances sort of fall away, you're opening up the space to magnetize in that reciprocal love, that very deep and true and honest love and giving love, in the sense of friendship, romantic partners that are more in alignment with you, that will respect you and cherish you and give as much as they receive from the relationship. So I'm going to close this reading for you, group 3, with a romance angel card. I'm going to close things up. A final message from Spirit here. Okay, and we have calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So this is a really beautiful closing message here. And I feel that this is, soulmates can be in a variety of forms. They can be friends, they can be family member, they can be romance. So this is definitely Spirit letting you know that by, setting these boundaries, releasing this need to people please, to contort yourself to somebody else's expectation, or this undervaluing of yourself, valuing yourself only for what you have to give and provide to others, feeling you are only useful for what you can give and to provide to others, setting up that expectation that, you deserve to receive as well, that it's not just an endless fount of giving, but that something must be given back to you. By doing that, even as other relationships or people kind of fall away from your life, that they're not, they're kind of revealed in the truth of what the nature of that relationship was in terms of being one-sided. You open up this space to call in a romantic soulmate for yourself, to call in soulmates in the form of friends, of, other people that will be, respectful of these boundaries that you have, that will cherish that light inside of you, that will give as much as they are taking from the relationship. You open up the space for reciprocity to enter, and some really beautiful relationships and experiences and people that want to come in. But it really requires a releasing of certain mindsets or belief systems within yourself, certain ways of operating and, showing up in the world and showing up in relationships of all kinds with people. But, once you do that, and, the hardest word to say sometimes can be no. And it can be scary at first, and it can be something that it's kind of a process where, sometimes you're very firm in that, other times you give in. You kind of fall back in old patterns of acquiescing or yielding or, just wanting to kind of overly please. And so be very compassionate with yourself through this process. It is a process. It'll get easier. The first time is definitely the hardest. The first no is definitely the hardest. And, if you kind of fall back into old ways, don't beat yourself up too much about that. Just, course correct as many times as necessary. There's no wrong way to go about this. Simply changing your mindset to something of, that you're worthy and deserving of reciprocity. That does so much for your energy. Even carrying yourself in that space, you may find that people that were only interested in taking kind of, they scatter. They don't, they just the way you carry yourself, the way that you are presenting yourself in the world, it's something where, they might not try to come and drain as much. They can almost feel that energetically. For others, it will take, some very firm boundaries and conversations, but for others, they'll sense that there's a shift, there's something different, and kind of just naturally fade away from your life. But with anything that fades out, it definitely, you know, the universe abhors a vacuum. So there won't just be this empty chair, this empty corner in your life forever, that you're magnetizing in people that, you know, will value you and will see you. And it all starts with you really placing a higher value on yourself perhaps than you have in the past. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. So I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.